Once coaches start practicing, we notice that sometimes they avoid asking the harder questions. Why is that?
Because they're afraid of making their client feel uncomfortable. This includes even sometimes making yourself feel uncomfortable. What would they think about me if I asked that question? Is that too intrusive? Is that the wrong question to ask right now? But we've seen it time and time again, is that when we show people how to ask those braver questions, it actually creates the real breakthroughs that your client has been looking for. Because most people aren't willing to ask those questions. As a coach, we are willing to ask those questions. So I want you to remember a couple things when you come upon this. Remember that brave questions actually help your client explore what is most important and meaningful to them. Number 2 is most surface level questions keep things on the surface, which means they won't have a deep emotional impact for your client. And number 3, remember what we always say, discomfort is the price for a meaningful life. So not only your discomfort, but sometimes your clients being willing to have that conversation can be the thing that will change their life forever. And that's why today's quote is brave questions create brave clients.
What's an example of a brave question?
That's such a great question. So when I think about relationships, I find that sometimes those are the deepest questions that I can ask. And one of the things that I constantly bring up is the ownership piece, like taking control of the things you can control. So if somebody has a conversation with me, or they're like, this is what I said to my kids, and this is how they responded and reacted, I'll ask them, what part did you play in that situation? Thinking about the things that you can control, what could you have done differently? And see, most of the time, people would have like jumped in the pool and be like, oh, well, they shouldn't treat you like that, or just jump in giving it advice. But what I have found is as being a coach, helping them identify what they can control and taking ownership of it, I always ask them those questions. And you will see a total shift because they will start taking control of the things they can control, which is the way they think, the way they talk, and the way that they act. They can't control those from the outside, and I make sure that they're aware of that, so they're spending their time and energy how best they can.
How do you know when it's time to ask that question?
Intuition. I'm going to say, like, when you have a conversation, even with your friend, you're probably feeling it. It's probably something that's like, should I go down that path? Should I ask this question? Now, the truth is we teach coaches how to ask it in a way that's kind of compassionate, and it's not beating them up or shaming or guilting. So there is a process behind that. But at the same time, it's just being willing to go down that path. Now, the truth be told is like sometimes when I'm actually going down a path, I actually ask for permission when I'm coaching because I notice that some things create an emotional experience for someone. And I want them to know that I'm all in. I'm all in with going down that path if they're willing to go down it with me. And so sometimes I will ask them for permission. Sometimes I'll ask it and see where we go. And there is some finesse around how we teach this, but it's really being willing to meet people where they are.
What do you tell coaches that are afraid to go there?
Oh, this is the greatest opportunity that you have. Most people aren't willing to go there and ask those questions. But that's why most people stay surface level and don't help create the transformations their clients can really have. And so being willing to do that, not only does it make you brave, but it makes your clients brave too. And you'll be amazed that when you ask those questions, when you get to the end of a session, it will be the question that actually created the breakthrough for your client. And then you can remind yourself of the next time. The next time that hard thing comes up, you're willing to talk about it because it's going to make an impact, not only in their lives, but in your lives too. Now, if you missed episode number 5, go back and check that out. We talked about the power of silence because that is also an uncomfortable situation, but it's actually your greatest opportunity. Today, we talked about how to ask those brave questions, the ones that you know that you need to ask, but you're a little uncomfortable with asking. But there's something very important that you need to do even before you start asking those brave questions. And that's what we're going to lead into in episode number 7, because it's time to take yourself out of the equation.